Good evening. This is Manuel Reta, and we are here. And I hope that you are able to share or even chat on this program. And I'm trying to control this thing here. Okay. Um, Welcome, all you listeners. Si ustedes tienen preguntas, hoy es el tiempo de preguntar sus preguntas en español o en inglés, como sea. Aquí tengo un amigo y él está corriendo por sheriff en esta manera. I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself. We can go from there.
Thank you so much. I'm Donnell Tanksley. Most people call me Tank. I'm the chief of police with the city of Blaine. I've been in law enforcement for 30 years. I started my police career in St. Louis, Missouri, spent 21 years there and retired. Moved to Bellingham in 2014 and worked for Western Washington University as their assistant chief of police. And thereafter went to Portland State University for a short time as their chief of police. And I've been the chief of police of Blaine since 2019. Also, I spent 22 years in the military, serving my country in the U.S. Navy and Air Force, and retired in 2008 from the U.S. Air Force.
So we have another brother for you veterans that are out there, a veteran that has served our country. How many years?
22.
22 altogether?
22.
22 years of serving the community. And it's a long time, but yet faithful to his word, I believe. And so we thought we'd start this by introduction wise. Myself, what I have to say is basically I have invited all the candidates, whoever wants to come on board, to give me a call. And some have called and some have not. And I'm going to give you my email email. I don't know if it's how it comes on that side. It stands for nwwhcc@yahoo.com. Keep that in mind. You can email me, and if you're interested in coming on board and being a guest here, uh, and the reason that I say it, and the reason I invite anybody that way, that people have a responsibility. Who are they going to vote for? Where is a person's words when answering a question? When you get to the ballot, it's too late. You don't know the name, you don't know the person, you don't know how the service time that they've been in and whatever they were doing. They might be a teacher or whatever, but you, the taxpayers, are the ones that are going to be making a choice. And so on this station, on La Voz de Whatcom, in Espanol or in English, you have the ability to ask in Espanol or in English by chat. If you don't, then that's your call. Very simple. But opportunity in this radio station does any of the commercial local stations in Whatcom County or Skagit. I will also be going to Skagit as a talk show person. But for now, this is a nice place to listen and to ask questions because, like I said earlier, we'll have to vote for a sheriff and we'll have to vote for other issues that are going to be coming up on the ballots. Those issues, whatever they may be, you or somebody can come forward and we can discuss it in a way that's proper, in a way that people can ask questions. So when they come to the ballot, they know exactly who they're going to vote for and the decision that they are making. Because this is the freedom that we have right now, the ability to do the things that are right. And that's for everybody. Every vote counts. I didn't vote the first time because I never got my ballot. I called over there and told them, what's going on? Of all the years, you let me down. I'm not going to let you down. We have a guest here. You have the opportunity to ask, and he will also, between me and him, we're going to discuss some things, and that gives you an idea, a little bit of a background, and how we can hopefully change Whatcom County to a better place in that manner. Ojalá que ustedes que estén escuchando, que mi amigo aquí les va a contestar las preguntas y nos va a ayudar con las cosas que son necesarias. Porque ustedes van a votar en esta manera. Ustedes tienen el derecho, el poder de votar. Usted tiene, en estas palabras digo, escuchen las cosas que va a decir mi amigo aquí y seguimos con el programa. So I'll start asking you some things. What would you like to change with the help of the community as far if you become the sheriff?
Sure. So I think one of the biggest challenges that we have right now as a community is the issue with the jail. And if that jail is going to pass the tax measure, that's going to be on the ballot this November. And we also have to figure out what we're going to do if the measure does not pass. So I believe that it's important that as the sheriff of Whatcom County, if elected, that we reach back out to our stakeholders in the community, and we reach back out to people that are invested, volunteers like you, people that have time, and to different sections of Whatcom County, different sections of the community in terms of faith-based organizations, and to figure this out together. Because what we need are community voices together to figure this out. But also, as sheriff, I believe that reaching out to the community is important. And I think we need to get back to community policing, community engagement, being involved with the community, doing forums, even meeting in church basements, meeting at community centers, meeting in different places. So I think it's tremendously important that we get back to the basics of involving the community, and from a law enforcement standpoint, being proactive in reaching the community.
Yeah. Have you heard in Everson, they are putting together some sort of program in which to help Everson and anybody else as far as policing type issues that are going to be bringing the youth up a little bit higher understanding. Have you heard anything about that?
I have not heard about that program, but I certainly believe that we need to engage our youth. But part of that engagement is being able to establish trust. And, it's one thing to say, yes, I'm going to go out and contact the youth, but does the youth trust law enforcement? And it's not as easy to do. So I believe that we first reach out to the schools. We reach out to after school programs. We reach out to the Boys and Girls Club and to these different organizations that actually have a lot of youth participation, to include youth sports. So I do believe that is achievable. When I was a police officer in St. Louis, we had what they call the Police Athletic League. And in fact, I was a coach for the Police Athletic League for many years. And I coached, believe it or not, 4 and 5-year-olds in T-ball. Mm-hmm. And the program was free to the community. All the coaches were police officers, and they called me Coach Tank. And just building that trust with those kids really throughout the years will pay big dividends to the community.
Yeah. And I like that what you said, because in reality, the children, this goes, I want to bring up a little bit of school education. And I want to bring up Nooksack Valley. A couple of years ago, it's been over 7 years or so, Nooksack Valley had been bringing the high school kids down to the grade school to teach the children in English and in Spanish. Little ones, little children.
Mm-hmm.
And so what you got there is a win-win. And that's one thing that everybody should be looking at. A win-win in which we all benefit, the children benefit, the school benefits. After that, I went around, I went to Linden, any of the teachers and whoever at that time with the leaders, I told them about it. I brought it to the Ferndale president, superintendent, and I tried to reach the Blaine in different places. But overall, in what I seen, it was a disconnect.
Mm-hmm.
Nooksack Valley continued. Bellingham, Greg Baker had just become a new superintendent. He undertook, he listened. He's doing an excellent job helping our kids in Bellingham. From Ferndale, I contacted the superintendent. She tried it for a very short time, nothing. But yeah, you see, we need the leaders to listen. We need the leaders to follow through. Our children is the future of tomorrow. Very simple, very straightforward. If we have a leader, it doesn't matter what position,
Mm-hmm.
as long as they keep their word, as long as they have the history it takes, the following, we can achieve a lot of things. Um, I have been involved in the police before when I started the Hispanic Chamber. And at that meeting, all the chiefs, along with the chief here in Ferndale at that time, whom we don't have anymore, Chief Knapp, all the chiefs agreed on communication and helping all the cities together. And it did work. It did work until there was replacements of personnel, which is, it happens.
Yeah, yeah.
It happens. But the thing that's important is we have to follow up. We have to have accountability. You, the listeners, are listening to the words. If we're going to have a chief, have the communication with him, bring ideas to him so that he can develop something positive. I mean, I'm not trying to add on, but
Yeah, sure.
that's the way that I work.
But,
And so go ahead.
but I also tell you that I think we have an opportunity with me being a 22-year retired veteran to tap into some of the veteran programs that we have, not only in Whatcom County, but around the state. There's a lot of veteran organizations, and I understand that you're part of the Vietnam Veterans Chapter 165. Is that it?
Yeah.
Right. And but so different veteran organizations around the state, they also have programs for middle school and high school students. And oftentimes these programs are not full to capacity. So I think also just pushing that information out to our community about those programs as well.
Mm-hmm. So it takes a connection and a follow through with those things to accomplish something positive for the future or for our children that are here now. Most of our kids have or will reach the age of accountability. Mm-hmm. And as long as we keep going in that direction and doing the right things. And I'll use one example. We had a meeting. We had a Hispanic Chicarena meeting. My wife is in charge of the Chicarena Stance Group. Mm-hmm. And we had it in the library. And pretty soon here, two young people come into the room loud. Mm. I got up. I took them up and says, go to the office with me. And they followed me. And as soon as I was outside the door, I told them, I appreciate you guys, but we have a private meeting. We're doing business. Mm-hmm. And not only that, I told them also a minister. But I got a positive response. They apologized. They shook my hand as a veteran, and they walked away.
Teaching them.
That's what it takes. That's what it takes. So if you have a calling, or if you would like to do something like that, the doors are open. Come in here for an interview. You guys, whoever is listening, take it to heart. Our time is your time right now. If you have any question whatsoever, go ahead and put it on chat, and we will try to answer it as well as we can. If I don't, he will.
Absolutely.
So, okay. Um, uh, Most of the things that I like to bring up too is in the cities here in Whatcom County, we need more people of color. Myself, I consider myself indigenous. My mom and dad from Mexico eran indígenas de esa manera. Por eso cuando se vienen todos los mexicanos del país del sur, y no nomás mexicanos, son parte de nuestra gente, no directamente, como quiera uso la palabra de indígenas. Vienen aquí a trabajar, a ayudar, a plantar, a servir también. Yo estoy para ayudar a mi gente y voy a seguir haciendo la misma cosa como ayudando, apoyando. Y pienso yo, con tiempo, es muy importante que la gente en esta comunidad comience a aceptar poner gente en el gobierno o en la ciudad o en las escuelas como maestros o ayudantes. ¿Por qué? Porque los niños van a crecer y muchas veces les va a dar vergüenza de hablar español. Eso no está bien. Nosotros tenemos que criar a los hijos en la manera que es justo. Y por eso les digo para ustedes, este hombre tiene mucha experiencia. Y por eso digo, usted tiene el poder de votar también por él o por otra persona. La cosa que yo digo, estudie usted las personas que vienen aquí gratis. Yo no les cobro ningún centavo. Vienen porque quieren venir, quieren servir la comunidad para ustedes y también para mí. I'll try to make it short. It is very important for all the people coming from the South. Have respect for them. And let them come to work. But in the politics, they're always branded. All of them are doing drugs. That's not right. Those people are indigenous. I'm indigenous. I'm a minister. I have served my country. I have served the community. All of you know who I am most of the time. And I will not stop doing that. And the most important thing to realize, we have leaders coming on board. Listen to what they have to offer. It might be a little different from somebody else, but listen to the word, listen to the works of what they're doing too. Are they doing it for us, for our children, for the elderly? These are the questions that you should be asking. Where do you stand as a voter? Do you want righteousness? I don't believe you like the things that are going on over Washington, D.C. That is a negative thing. We don't want I personally don't want nothing to do with that. But overall, we have to vote for somebody. Okay? The candidates that I invite, I tell them, the door's open. Email me. I do not discriminate. I want the people to work together.
Absolutely.
As my friend here is seeing at the Fiestas Patrias, at the salute of the flag, that was my last call. I'm going to retire from Fiestas Patrias, even though I'm the founder and everything else. I ask all the candidates to come front and center before the flag. Okay? We all must come together. We must never hold any prejudice, any hatred. Uh, the Bible that I read is you must have a forgiving spirit. And I'd rather continue doing that in a way that's is presentable to you and to everybody else. My friend, I know I did my part.
Yes.
You do your part in whatever you have to do.
Yeah, so absolutely. I think it's tremendously important to have a diverse workforce. And I like the fact that you said in government, not just in law enforcement, because even in law enforcement, we have people in positions that do other things within the actual agency.
Yes.
So, but also with that, from my experience being born and raised in a urban diversified community such as St. Louis and living in other places throughout the U.S., but also my experience in the military, traveling all across the world.
Mm-hmm.
I've lived in places like Japan. I lived in Iceland. I lived in Bahrain, in fact. So I'm used to being around different cultures and learning about those different cultures and learning what their traditions are, learning what their culture is, and how does that fold into the community that we have here. And as the sheriff of Whatcom County, we have to actively, proactively try to recruit people for these different jobs. But we also have to make sure that we give them a true understanding of the requirements. We give them a true understanding of what the job entails. In fact, that's why we have ride-alongs and invite people to ride-alongs. That's why we could come out and do a 15-minute, 30-minute, hour presentation, on what the sheriff's department does, and just not law enforcement, but the other entities of the sheriff's department and government. But I would also like to add that one of the reasons I believe that it's necessary that we have the Whatcom County Racial Equity Commission is because that commission is chartered to, or charged, if you will, to take a look at the different policies, different procedures within Whatcom County government. They're charged to take a look at the data to see if there's any systemic issues that does prevent people from, achieving a good job, education, to make sure that we have health equity, to make sure that we have accessibility to food, to make sure that we have accessibility to housing, all these other things. So I was on the Whatcom Racial Equity Stakeholder Group, which was the group that actually did the work to formulate the commission. So I do think it's important to make sure that we have representation and within all county government of different ethnicities and persuasions.
And you, the listeners, also have the ability to make a change of something is kind of going the wrong way. Because I have noticed here living in, I love my city. It's just something that I belong here. But, and when I talk about equity and talk about certain things, I have, because I've seen things that are not correct. Let's use, for example, people that are being hired like for during the summer. And the Hispanics, they would like to come on board and work for the city. Of all the years that I've been here, I have never seen a Latino or a brother that's black or a Punjabi working as in the city in that manner. None. I don't know about your city, Linden, Blaine, Everson, or Nooksack. I don't know. But it's something that we should all consider and take an inventory. Why not? Why not hire somebody for part-time during the summer, clean roads or cut brushes or something? Let some of these People of color show their true colors, that they can work. And a lot of times they can outwork a lot of other people. Okay. If you bring younger people that are accountable, I think that would have an effect on your city. It would affect the people that are actually seeing the works that you, the city, are putting together.
And, in fact, I think you make a good point. So Saturday, when I was at the Hispanic Heritage celebration, I was talking to a pastor um, there, and the pastor was Hispanic. And he was telling me, he said, "Hey, Tank, our people, they want to work. They want to work hard. They are hard workers. They want to raise a family. They want their children to be educated. Um, they want to do their part in society. They want to do their part in the community." And, that just reinforced what you just said,
Yes.
And I think by and large that I think we all want the same thing.
Yes.
I think we all want the same thing, but it's about the opportunity. The opportunity. Do you have the opportunity to do those things? So I do believe it's tremendously important to certainly reach out to different communities, different people, and let them know what we do and invite them in. And I think you have to be inviting. So it's part of the culture. It's the culture, and for some people, law enforcement hasn't been so inviting. So I think
Yeah.
I think that we really have to change that.
Yeah. And that's one thing that I've seen through my lifetime. And that's why at one time I got a hold of all the chiefs together here in Ferndale, Chihuahua's place. And we had a long meeting. Very, very uh, educational, because I just let it out. Basically, we need to work together.
Mhm.
We have to be accountable for what we do, and we ought to be able to be accountable to the taxpayers for what we do. Our children are seeing and noticing everything that's going on. Ferndale, Blaine, Linden, Nooksack, Bellingham, our county is at stake. This vote, whoever you vote for, think about the people, ask them the questions. They're here to serve. Both of the candidates I have met, both of the candidates are basically, I consider them like two brothers in service. They want to do the right thing. At the same time, you are the voters. You will make the decision. But again, just think about our show today and spread the word on what needs to be done. Something else you want to bring up?
Well, no, I think I'll just close by saying that again, I have 30 years of law enforcement experience,
Mhm.
but also part of that experience, most of my law enforcement experience and military experience is in management. And I've been trained to lead organizations. I've been trained to manage organizations. I've also been trained to believe that our uh, to look at our next generation of leaders within the
Mhm.
organization. So, as the sheriff of Whatcom County, we certainly have to be mindful of recruitment, retention. We have to make sure that each and every single employee within the sheriff's office is well trained.
Mhm.
Make sure that they have the opportunities to be trained. Make sure that they have the opportunities for advancement. And not only that, to talk to each one of them individually and ask them, how would they like to grow? How would they like to be part of the plan to
Mhm.
grow and to be part of leadership if they choose to be? Not
Yes.
everyone wants to be part of leadership, but I think it's important to ask people within the organization about their future and how they want to continue to contribute within the organization. So I have a master's degree in management, also have a bachelor's degree, and then also several associate degrees in criminal justice, human resource management, and education and training. And lastly, I want to say that as the sheriff of Whatcom County, it's important that you're the sheriff for every single person, and I will be. And that's every single person in every corner of the community, all the way down to even if a person is incarcerated within the Whatcom County Jail,
Mhm.
I'm still their sheriff as well. So it's important that we just ensure that we vote for the right person. And I would love to have your vote. If you want more information, go to tankforsheriff.com. And if you want to email me, it's info@tankforsheriff.com. So thank you. I would love to have your vote.
One last question I had, and I completely forgot. Do you foresee some sort of a cadet school, hopefully, for some of our kids or girls that would like to get into law enforcement?
Yes. So I'm really glad that you mentioned that. So there is a program, and I don't want to mention the veteran organization, but there is a veteran organization that I'm part of. And throughout different states, they do have a law enforcement explorer program within this veteran organization. Currently in the state of Washington, we don't have one. But there is a good possibility that we could have one. So that program, normally it's 2 weeks in the summer, and the explorers meet at a location, and they do training. So it's certainly the possibility to have something like that. But again, it's going to take the will of different members in the community, and I think it would be well received.
Good, good. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And for anybody else that's has got any questions, you can email me, and I will send that email to him, to my friend. And again, I'm going to put this out. It's nwwhcc@yahoo.com. Thank you very much. You all have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. And vote.
There you go. Vote. Later on.